Maneva na say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
But the mother didn't cause it.
No, this is where did she go to get that job? Yes. So that's the police statement there. Now, yes, Patricia, the point. So, Council, what taking into consideration, yes, the increase in the cost of production of these passports, what quantum of increase would have been, in your view, allowed?
Okay, so can I say quick comment on the Presec boys before
yes,
please. You know, I'm passionate about juvenile justice.
Indeed.
Let's just be careful, please. Once you have the boys being under 18, and even if you look at the Juvenile Justice Act, you see it tries to cover 21-year-olds. Please, let's try and keep their identity.
The identities are
from the media. So it's the police I'm trying. So at any point, remember Cecilia Dapae's case, when it came, we did, and then eventually one of the girls, she was underage, but eventually her identity was blown. Let's not do that. Look, there are lots of people in high authority today. They were very bad kids, very, very bad. I mean, all the way. We have several ministers. Oh, some have said it publicly to show how they've transformed.
Like
you know, Duncan Williams. Oh, mine didn't go fine. I didn't go near juvenile court. I was playing football and being asked not to play and then do things. Okay, right, yeah.
Okay, I think it's a fair point.
Yes, let's do that. And there are criminal consequences. If you read the Juvenile Justice Act, if you disclose the identity of this children, it's a crime. It's in there, okay? So don't say we didn't warn you.
Yes.
All right. Now, you see, this increment, it's been poorly thought through, very poorly thought through.
Why?
You see, when you're doing, you know, it's governance. You are governing the people. You read the Constitution, lead. So they'll tell you probity, transparency, accountability. So that is what should have guided government. We should have had a good conversation. Tell us this, that. Then people buy into it before you go into parliament and then come with a law. But these guys, you know,
but that's why there's parliament. They are the representatives of the people. To the extent that, according to the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, the Foreign Affairs Ministry was even asking for something higher.
That's no excuse. I don't even want to hear that.
The Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament engaged. They had engagements over the period, even before this announcement. So if Parliament is representing the people and this process went through Parliament, what else could have been done?
Just going through Parliament is not enough. You know, Parliament has its own problems. Parliament is very weak. The Speaker himself has said it. Right now, by the, researches that have been done, the latest one puts Parliament at the bottom. Okay? Even the executive did better. The president did better than Parliament. So Parliament is weak. He could be talking on TV there. Was not the one somebody carried money there. He refused to disclose the identity of the person. Today he's saying somebody is throwing tantrums. When I looked at Apia Kubi make that comment, I was like, has he forgotten that somebody brought money? He has refused to disclose the identity of the person. We all know the person, but he Apia Kubi doesn't want to go on record. And now he has the effrontery to call somebody
he's not here to defend
throwing tantrums. Oh, this is a fair comment. If you were here, so I've been taking him on the disclosure of the businessman.
Indeed.
He has to disclose that one. Oh, that fight is not over. Look, Mr. Okansi, Article 1 says that sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution. You see, and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised. You go to the directive principles of state policy, and of course, I hope we are all aware that the Supreme Court has said, don't ever say they are not justiciable. Yes, no, not at all. So they are. You go in there, you find the other articles talking about probity, accountability. In one word, what I'm saying is that when you are coming out with such a draconian policy, you should engage the citizens first. Saying you've engaged Parliament is not enough. I've already shown that Parliament is weak. Very, very, very weak.
So what kind of engagement are you talking about?
So I expected the minister to have done a stakeholders conference. They will announce it well ahead of time and tell people to bring memoranda, since there will be several. Then we will have a national dialogue. Then people would make an input. We can't just say, oh, it went through parliament, so it's done. No, that's bad governance. Let the people participate. You remember Rawlings used to make noise. Participatory governance, participatory governance. Where is that gone? If you tell me that, oh, other countries in the sub-region, some pay $150.
They say we're actually the lowest. Until this increase, Ghana was the lowest. So the old fees were about $7.7 thereabout.
Yes.
$7.07. Now, the Cameroon, for instance, charges $180, Guinea $57, Guinea-Bissau $65, Burkina Faso $80, Nigeria about $55 as well.
Good. So you see how the minister is taking it out of context.
Why?
Has she analyzed the whole of those countries? So I can tell you, let's give an example, VAT. VAT is cheaper in Nigeria, far cheaper. You see how our VAT is killing businesses. You see how Dr. Ejekum, Kama Pharmaceutical, you see he says that his warehouse is locked up, his factory can't produce, but government has killed this business. Many other businesses have been killed because of the obnoxious and nuisance taxes that this government is imposed on us. So have you have to do a holistic thing. Look at free SHS, which we always laud the president for. Of course, though with hindsight, let's put it in context. The free SHS covers about 20-something% of the total cost. It's not, so when we say free, it's not like free 100%. But whatever it is, at least he moved it forward beyond what JM did. So my point is that then by parity of reasoning, or the logic of the minister's argument is that since there was no free SHS in the sub-region, then we too shouldn't have done so. You can just see she's not thought it through. This is a very bad policy. Look, they should reverse it and come back and let's make a proper input. Because what justification? From 100 Ghana, boom, to 500 Ghana. What kind of thinking is this? You can just see it's poor logic, poor judgment, very, very poor judgment. There's no way you can justify this. Look, what are we saying? That so because some of the information they put out there in various dispatches, they're saying you had about 70,000 applications. There's a backlog. So if you need to clear the backlog, then it means increase it. Are they saying then that when they raise enough money to be able to clear the backlog, we can return to the old fees? Is that the logic? Because as part of the information they brought out, they say yes, there's a backlog of about 70,000 applications. So now that you've hiked the prices, if you raise enough revenue to buy new machines and all those things so that you can clear the backlog, does that then mean that we can go back to the old prices? You've not done all this. I just see it as an opportunity, because they've mismanaged the economy and we are in such a deep crater. They're just, it's a form of taxation. That's all that they're doing.
This increment?
Yeah.
So what quantum of increase would you have supported if this, you say, is draconian?
Anything not exceeding 100%. Anything not exceeding 100%.
So from 100 to 200 Ghana cedis, for instance?
Yes, I would have supported same. Because as I said, let's look at those countries you are talking about, the sub-region. Isn't Cote d'Ivoire doing better than us? Then the minister should be aware. Cote d'Ivoire has 41 ministers. We should tell Akuffo Addo to reduce his ministers from 86 to 41. Cote d'Ivoire has better inflation rates. Are we going to do that? But I will say, how did the economic circumstances in JM's time, how did it fly over Togo, etc., and entered Ghana? So what are you saying?
I see.
Cote d'Ivoire has 41 ministers. Are you going to tell Akuffo Addo that based on comparison in the sub-region, Ghana too should have 41 ministers?
So 100% increase you would have supported?
Yes. Anything maximum 100.
500?
Yes.
I see.
A little information. I was talking about the Ghana card. Somebody just sent me a message that at the borders of Aflao and then we want to go to Cote d'Ivoire, they prefer the passport to the Ghana card. And so if they prefer the passport to the Ghana card, and the quest for the Ghana card to be used as passport has a long way to go, and it's important that we expedite action, on that, and so that all this brouhaha would not be there. Why are you smiling?
Conclude on your point.
Yes. So as I said, going back to the directive principles, look, the Article 36. Okay. So apart from the probity, you see, 35 says that Ghana shall be dedicated to the realization of freedom and justice, and accordingly, sovereignty resides in the people of Ghana, from whom government derives all its powers and authority through this constitution. You go on and on. As I said, I'm interested in the probity, the accountability, etc. Right? Now you come to 36, so that we should remind ourselves, how are you governing? It says that, listen, govern in such a way that we are all taken good care of. So you can't just come with policies that seek to further choke us. Are you aware, before I read 36, are you aware for the first time in 14 months, right? The price of petrol has gone up. Petrol has gone up. When we are choking in this heat, when there is doomsday, unfortunately, you know what? Yesterday somebody sent me
we'll have the
Baumia's statement. At the time, there was doomsday in GM's administration, and then prices went up.
Don't go ahead of yourself. We'll have the doomsday conversation.
Yes. So what kind of government is this? Right now, inflation is high. We came from 54 in December 2022. Yes, it's been declining, but declining doesn't mean prices are getting cheaper. It just means that the rate at which prices are going up is lower. So we are still in what? Listen, cost of living crisis. You can't.
Declining.
Yes, that's at the rate of increase. So if the change,
but nobody is reducing prices.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
So we are suffering. How can you say? Look at 36. It says that the state shall take all necessary action to ensure that the national economy is managed in such a manner as to maximize the rate of economic development and to secure the maximum welfare, freedom, and happiness of every person in Ghana, and to provide adequate means of livelihood and suitable employment and public assistance to the needy. And on and on. So my point is, look, when an unemployed graduate is trying to get a passport and try his luck, US Embassy, UK, Canada, whichever other one, you think it's fair just because he wants to make an attempt to go, you punish him the more. So you put it beyond his reach. I mean, what kind of policy is this? Rather, because we have a teeming youth, unemployment over 14%, and Prof, you referred to it. It's been in that national security document they launched about 3 years ago. From time to time, so on paper, we know unemployment is a ticking time bomb. That is bringing us the Arab Spring. We are aware that the unemployment is bringing us the Arab Spring, but we are playing ostrich. So my point is that that unemployed graduate who needs to get a passport so that he can try his luck to go outside, you think you can penalize him and think that is his maximum welfare?
Okay.
Is that his maximum welfare? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Look, it's even possible that if we manage the economy well, passports can even be given for free. So don't come and take things out of context that just because in the sub-region some places are higher, Ghana should also charge higher. What about the rest of the economic circumstances in those countries? What about the rest of the economic circumstances? Why are you not comparing to Cote d'Ivoire? The economic circumstances, their inflation rates, their, what do you call it, interest rates. Yes, businesses, you borrow at far cheaper rates.
We are not the same.
Okay.
I mean, what kind of comparing apples with oranges is this?
Well, there was some justification or explanation that was given by the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. But just before you come in, hear from Andy Akuffo, just a quick playback of what he said at that press conference. We'll try to get him on the telephone right now. But take a look at this.
I gotta go.
Realization that it was also a means of identification. Governments have had to subsidize passports which have a cost element of 400 Ghana cedis by 300 Ghana cedis. We realize that this subsidy is from the coffers of Ghana as a country. And indeed, it is our own money. All of us contribute to that kitty to underwrite that part of cost. Indeed, how fair would it be for only 20% of us to surcharge all of us the 80% for that which they want for their purpose of travel? It is not fair. Indeed, there are countries that are charging even $200, $150 within the sub-region for the same passport, and indeed some of them even taking passports that only span for 5 years. For anybody to step out to say that they vehemently opposed the review of the fee. It's neither here nor there. The person who is throwing those tantrums is not a member of that committee. And indeed, it was not the work of the Foreign Affairs Committee, which I chair, which he is a ranking. So this is the work of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, and indeed chaired by the NDC Member of Parliament. So it never occurred in the committee meeting that there was protestation as to the recommendation for review. So it was a unanimous decision taken by the committee. So we brought our report to the House, and the report is public document which any one of you can have access to. And the report was adopted by the plenary.
Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo